All right, guys, I've got 9:05. Let's go ahead and get started. So we are gathered here this evening to go through 25 CISSP practice questions. If anyone's interested in audio recording of the CISSP study material, we were just talking a minute ago that some folks are audio learners, some are not. Some need to read the book, some need to write it down, some need to type it out and look at it. But if you're an audio learner, or if you're not sure, you can go to our website, CyberSecStudy.com, and we've got some audio content there. Also, we record these sessions and post them to YouTube. We currently have 7 practice question sessions posted there on YouTube, so that's about 175 questions that we've done so far. Just search in YouTube for CyberSecStudy. You'll find those 7 episodes, and we've got some other content up there too. Some other, like we did Jeopardy, CISSP Jeopardy, and I don't think we have any Kahoot stuff up there, but yeah. So this is the website, and we are gonna do 25 questions across all 8 domains. Any questions or comments before we get started?
Nope, ready to go.
All right. If we've got any new folks, I'll read the question. Don't blurt out the answer. Just wait or announce that you're ready, and then we'll give folks a chance. And then when I announce, anyone really can blurt out the answer. So question number 1: Alice's company has decided to bulk mail postcards to their current and prospective customers in hopes that they will return them along with feedback as the services the company provides. She has been tasked with designing and developing the system that will be used to process the information returned, and has been instructed to ensure that it will be most useful to direct management's business decisions for the next year. It's clear that automation will be required, including the scanning of the returned postcards, and likely some amount of optical character recognition to enable text-based processing of the responses. Given this scenario, which of the following statements is true? And that is a big one. So bulk postcards to current customers, and then when the postcards are returned, they're going to do some scanning.
Ready?
Okay. Anyone else? All right, go for it.
I go with C.
I'm going for C too.
Anyone else? All right, I agree. I believe it's Charlie. Number 2, Activex Data Objects, ADO, is an API that allows applications to access back-end database systems. It is a set of ODBC interfaces that exposes the functionality of data sources through accessible objects. Which of the following are incorrect characteristics of ADO? So APIs, they allow for the exchange of information between systems. Okay. Any takers?
I think it's D.
Don is Kiki.
Hey there. Good evening. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
My guess is A.
Yeah, this one is probably a little difficult. I'm not familiar with ADO, but knowing that it's an API, I think this is still a little. I was actually leaning towards Delta on this one,
Yeah,
either Charlie or Delta.
I'm leaning towards Delta as well. So is an Activex data object related with Java, or is that not something?
I'm not sure, but ActiveX is.
No, I did it more based on a process of elimination because I saw A, B, and C all have number 1, and it's a low-level data access program interface to an underlying data access technology such as OLEDB. OLEDB is used for access to Microsoft SQL Server connections.
Mm-hmm.
So, and since they're using, I don't know, I just thought that was a correct answer. So, and since A, B, and C have it, I decided to go with D.
You decided to go with Delta?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, this.
I'm Alpha.
Yeah,
Right.
Delta as well.
Yeah, so ActiveX, we know that's a mobile code. We know what APIs are, interfaces, but still, I think this is a little difficult. So we'll learn something on the back end for this one. Number 3, which of the following activities does the IAB consider a violation of the ethics and the internet? The ethics and the internet.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay, go for it.
Delta.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I'm saying that A.
I picked Bravo.
I was going for Bravo. That's a guess.
I picked B also because selling.
Does anybody know?
Yeah, selling is ethics, and the worm would be internet. I feel like.
What is IAB?
Internet is something board.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was thinking the same thing. Internet something board. Hopefully it'll kill us on the back end. But for me, A, B, and C are all similar, and Delta is an outlier. So I was kind of leaning towards Delta just for that reason.
I did a practice test, and this question, I kind of remember seeing this question, and the compromise of somebody's privacy of users stood out. So,
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm leaning. I mean,
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Internet Architecture Board.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
see
because
where that question where either A, B, or C would be, more prevalent than either one of each other based on that question.
yeah, I picked it on with 3 reasons. One is what you said, Don, is that it stands out. Number 2 is all the other 3 are more technology based perspective, and if you look at the selling perspective, I could for A and C, I can still create a computer virus and even sell it, right? So it still gives me that window. So yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, here we go. Number 4, which of the following security mechanisms encompasses all of the components that are responsible for enforcing the established security policy? Encompasses all of the components that are responsible. Those components could be hardware, software, firmware. Anyone? Bueller?
I picked Delta.
Yeah, Delta.
Anyone else?
I was gonna say B, but
Oh,
I thought we had this question and it was supposed to be D. I'm not
I,
sure.
it
I
is.
don't remember.
Okay.
now I'm thinking alpha actually, trusted computing base.
Hmm.
The trusted computing base implements the reference monitor concept and encompasses all hardware, firmware, software that's used to provide security. So I'm gonna have to go with that one, and I'll take the blame. All right, number 5, what is a main advantage of using hot sites? I think we've seen this one before.
I'm ready.
Anyone else?
Delta here, sorry.
Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delta, hot
I
sites.
picked Delta.
Yeah, I think we saw this 2 or 3 sessions, 4 sessions maybe ago. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and look, we've got those 7 sessions up there. There's a lot of stuff that we've seen so far. All right, number 6, which of the following is the least important aspect of resource provisioning? Least important.
Ready.
Okay, go for it.
Charlie.
Anybody else?
I was going for Charlie too. That was the only one I was looking at.
Yep, same here.
Same here. Yeah.
All right, we have a consensus. Number 7, what could be the most significant result of a flaw in file and directory permission settings? Most important result of flaw in file directory permission settings. I don't really
I'm
like
ready.
that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta pick one or the other because there's a lot of them just kind of close to each other.
Yeah, anyone want to take a stab at this?
I was thinking C
I
because
think C, Charlie.
for integrity,
Yeah,
but
I'm thinking C.
I was looking at A too.
Yeah, I've been fighting between A and C. I'm thinking more of A because that's a
I'm
long
thinking
term.
A too.
Because you got system level control. That means it's going to expand beyond that specific file and directory, possibly, right?
Yeah, if you've got file and directory permission settings, you're right clicking on those objects and assigning users or groups access to those objects. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Charlie here. Since
It could be A because you know that Dell support thing. There was a vulnerability discovered, and it was, I think, remote execution that could have happened. and this was like just last week. That 17-year-old kid.
Is
And
that specifically related to directory or file or directory permissions?
well, the thing about that is if it's basically like bloatware that's installed by default, and part of this thing is if it is installed, it gives like the anyone like local admin rights or something to this. It basically gives administrative privileges. That's why I was thinking A, but I went for C initially.
Okay.
If we did get it wrong, but I'm still not sure for this one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. All right, number 8, blank defines the maximum amount of time that a system resource can remain unavailable before there is an unacceptable impact on other system resources, supported mission business functions.
Ready.
Maximum amount of time resources can be unavailable. All right, anyone else ready?
I'm ready.
All right, guys, go for it.
A.
Yeah, A.
Alpha, absolutely. Maximum tolerable downtime. All of these are related to your organization having an incident, right, that requires you to move operations to your alternate processing site. So maximum tolerable downtime, how long can you be without your business processes before your business starts to suffer? Recovery time objective is how long do you expect to be able to recover operations at your alternate processing site? Recovery point objective is deals with the data, the point at which the data is available to you. All right, that is we know we got that one. Question number 9, when purchasing a biometric system, one of the considerations that should be reviewed is the processing speed. Which of the following best describes what is meant by processing?
Ready.
Ready.
Ready? Ready?
All right, go for
I'm
it.
ready.
Ready.
Go for it.
Go for C.
Charlie.
I think of the graph for this one, biometric stuff.
Say again, you looked at the graph?
No, I think about that the graph, like the false acceptance rate or something. The far
Yeah. Crossover error rate.
yeah, those 3 things.
Yeah. All right. Number 10, an OLTP database ensuring that no transactions are finalized until all connected systems have synchronized is employing what function? Have we seen this one before? We got it wrong the first time and then we...
I think so. I was thinking, okay.
I'm sorry, say again?
No, it's tricky. I was going to answer and then I thought I could wait for everybody else.
Now go ahead. What do you got, Kiki?
I thought it was A.
All right. Anyone else?
I'm just guessing it's Delta.
I was going with A too.
Yeah, we've seen this one before. It is A. We thought these were, and I still believe these are related to the ACID properties in databases. Automicity is the A in ACID. Consistency is the C. Isolation is I, and forget what the D is.
It was durability, right?
Durability. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think this one is C. I think we've seen it before.
Yeah, well, see, because we were thinking acid properties, we originally chose isolation. We chose
Okay,
early, and we were wrong. It is a two-phase commit. You want to make sure that no transactions are finalized until all connected systems are synchronized. That is a two.
So in databases, they have this, um, to make sure that all the codes are going through and all the data is getting completely written down, they have this process called as begin transaction and commit transaction. So where they begin a transaction, and once all your checks and balances are done, you pass the commit transaction command, and that will write all the information to the database, finalize it, and it'll commit the transaction to the log files. So that's why you have that two phase.
Mhm.
And if you run into some errors, you can pass the rollback transaction, and it will roll back all the process that was done within that command until the begin transaction. So that's what the two phase commit is.
Okay.
Just an FYI.
And that's why it's good to study with a group, because no one person knows all this stuff. When you get a nice group of people that all have different experience and knowledge, we can help each other out. So yeah, thank you. That's perfect. Number 11, a software analysis investigation would examine all of the following except software analysis investigation.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
I'm going for D.
Yeah, I was picking D as well.
Yes.
So if you're analyzing software, would that process author a program? That one's sticking out to me.
That's what I'm thinking too. The Bravo.
Yeah, if I'm
Actually, yeah, that could be right too, but
Because as soon as you have the word investigation, network logs would come into play, right?
yeah, I'm
isn't
thinking.
that how they find like the APTs and shit? The APTs like the cozy bears. I can't remember because I know they do their forensics. They try to like locate the IPs or something. It's from this origin.
Yeah, so the network logs would help there, right?
I was thinking more of C, reverse engineering. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to go with authoring a program. If you're doing an analysis, an investigative analysis, um, that investigation should not author. Well,
Wait, isn't an
examine
author more of the
examining the
people who
author of the
created the
program.
program?
Okay, no, I'm looking at that. I was looking at that incorrectly. Um, Trojan horse. I'm not sure. I'm thinking alpha now. So we're gonna talk to the author of the program. We're gonna do some reverse engineering. We're gonna look at the network logs. I'm not sure what Trojan horse has to do with a software analysis investigation. Anybody disagree?
Yeah, that kind of does seem right now, but isn't Trojan Horse a malicious program too, like some code?
Yeah, it,
Yeah.
I
it's
feel like course is in the software, so it would be analysis, but the network logs, I mean, software analysis, that to me has nothing to do with the network, it's just the software.
Yeah, to me, I think the trick lies in what does a software analysis investigation here mean, right?
right.
Does it mean because there's a flaw that you're looking for, or does it mean that And that's the reason I was still sticking to B as in Bravo is why would I'm doing an analysis investigation based on possibly something that's not right or something happened to it, right?
Well, see, I'm thinking if we're going to do an investigative analysis, we're going to look at things to try and find malicious code. We're not going to look at malicious code. Well, I don't know. We'll see on the back end. I'll take the hit for this one, but that one seems like an outlier to me. Number 12, which of the following is not true of a circuit switched network? Here, let's see.
Yeah, I'm running with what I call as a fairly educated guess. Yeah.
A semi-hypothesis,
Yeah.
quasi-hypothesis.
I can take a stab too.
All right, go for it.
I'm gonna say alpha.
I'm going for Delta.
That's all I was thinking. It was either A or D.
Delta.
It was still 50-50.
I'm
I'm going for A though.
I'm thinking Bravo or Delta. Is a circuit switch network connection oriented?
It is. It's a physical. It is a physical circuit. Yeah.
All right, let's go for Delta. I think we've got more folks pointing towards that one. Hi, Tweety. All right. Number 13, hiring new employees requires strict security controls that must be constantly reviewed and audited. Which of the following controls would not be associated with personnel hiring?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
I was going
B.
to B.
Yeah. Definitely want to do all those other things. This one's an outlier. Anybody disagree? All right, here we go. Number 14, Alice, Bob, and many of their colleagues have spent months constructing a business continuity plan for their enterprise. What is the first test of their findings that should be conducted? The first test of their findings. Yeah, I think we've seen this one or something very similar to this one before.
Ready.
All right, anyone else? Go for it.
Is it A?
Yeah, I'll go for A.
Yeah,
Alpha.
definitely. Checklist is one that you don't need the group to come together. Structured walkthrough, I think, would be second, and then simulation, and then parallel in that order, really. The next one after that will be a full interruption. Number 15, which of the following is the most common attack on DNS servers? We've seen this before.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Yep, go for it.
It's A.
Poisoning. Now,
We had this like 4 times.
I talked to my mentor today, and he's helped write questions with ISC squared, test question, actual exam questions, and he kind of backed up some of the theories that I have about getting those layups correct. So essentially, he said that those practice questions that we're not graded for, they put those on the exam just to see how many people get it right, how many people get it wrong. So if there's like 50% of the people are getting that question right, they won't put it on the exam. Okay. If too many people are getting a question right, then they won't make that a testable or gradable question on the exam. But there are a group of questions that a high percentage of people get correct, that they expect you to be able to get correct. So those layups, if you get those wrong, all right. So yeah, that's going back to saying that our those layups, man, we've got to get when you're on the exam, you've got to get those layups. If you miss any of those ones they consider to be easy, then they'll end the exam, and that's it. But if you can get all those layups, all those easy ones, I think you can miss some of the ones that 40% of the people get right, and still have a chance of passing. But this one here is a layup. All right, number 16, ensuring higher air pressure inside of a building compared to outside the building is known as, oh wow, we haven't seen this one before. We know this stuff, but the way this question is worded makes it tricky. So a higher pressure inside, would that make it so that when you open the door, the air goes out? Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, kind of ready.
All right. Anyone else?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
Ready.
Yeah, I'm a bit fighting between A and alpha and delta, but logic tells me maybe just if I follow logic, it's most probably delta because it's internal word and inside building. Gonna map that.
Anyone else?
I'm gonna go with A.
I'll go with A too, because it reminds you of going into a laboratory and you go through those clean rooms.
Yeah. So I'm used to the terms positive pressurization and negative pressurization that can be created from your HVAC system. And I believe positive pressurization is one where if you open a door or window, the air flows out. And then negative pressurization, if you open a door or window, the air comes in. So if you're in a building like the CDC, there's a bunch of diseases and there's an explosion in there, you would want negative pressurization because you'd want the air to stay in the building. You wouldn't want it to go outside the building. Again, I may be mixing up the positive and negative pressurization depending on whether the air flows in or out, but we'll clean it up on the back end, but I'm pretty sure about that one. All right, 17. What is an advantage of RSA over DSA? Oh, so we know RSA is asymmetric cryptography. What is DSA? Is that
I think that's NSA's depreciated algorithm thing.
Yeah.
digital signature algorithm, maybe?
Digital signature algorithm, yeah.
Okay. All right, anyone ready? Nobody's going to take the leap of faith here. All right, I'll go ahead and stick my neck out on this one. I believe it's alpha. RSA being an asymmetric algorithm, it can accomplish all 4 objectives of cryptography: confidentiality, integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation. It can do all 4, whereas digital signature can provide integrity and authentication. Just those 2. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's got to be alpha. It's definitely not Bravo because RSA doesn't use symmetric keys. It uses asymmetric keys. I don't think block or stream ciphers are usually used for symmetric cryptography. And a one-time pad is not relevant here. So, but we'll see on the back end. Number 18, how can logging play a role in stopping security breaches in a system?
I'm ready.
And you're
Ready.
Okay, go for it.
Ready.
Alpha.
Yeah, I've been saying for a long time that automated audit logs that are analyzed in near real time was one of the greatest weapons in the arsenal of a cybersecurity practitioner. It's just
I have to do this at work.
Oh, yeah.
Splunk.
Yeah, oh yeah,
They have that,
Tripwire.
error code.
Go ahead.
I was saying they have those, if you install SysMod on Windows, and you basically could catch like those early detections of malware and stuff in the process creations.
Yeah, so it can monitor system performance and user activity. You know, I installed one of those. I could see who the smokers were in my environment by audit events showing me when a person logs on or logs off or locks their workstation, how long they were gone, how long the lunch breaks were. I had one system administrator that implemented a change on a server without submitting a change request. And I went over to his desk and said, "Hey, I see you made a change." And the change request form was sitting on his desk. So yeah, if you install these things and configure them correctly, you can know more about people than they know about themselves. Number 19, personal health information, PHI, would generally be categorized as which of the following?
Ready.
Ready.
This is a layup. Go for it.
Bravo.
Bravo. Private. 20, a network segment located between the protected and unprotected network is called a blank.
I'm ready.
Another layup. Go for it.
It's C, DMZ.
Yep. 21, though laws with respect to privacy protection may vary between countries and jurisdictions, an organization's policy should consider all of the following except.
I'm ready.
Ready.
Go for it.
I'm ready.
I'm going for C.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie,
No,
definitely. That's the
I
layup.
think this came up for three, I think 5 sessions ago, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 22. On an old laptop used by a network technician, an old laptop used by a network technician has many device configuration files, passwords, and text strings. on it, even though the data has been erased. What is this type of information known as?
Already.
Another layup. Go for it.
B.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Bravo, yeah.
Bravo. Remnants. When you erase a file or delete it, even if you partition a hard drive, that information is still there. The remnants are still there. Number 23, an online banking program may allow a customer to view his account balance, but may not allow the customer to transfer money until he has a certain security level or access right. What type of access control is being used? What type of access control? I think this one is not probably not necessarily a layup, but it's a very short jumper.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more Charlie, administrator.
Anyone else? I actually
I
think,
was looking at B because I didn't think it was D or C.
yeah, I'm actually thinking Bravo, also transaction. I actually would prefer database views on here, but I think I'm going to go with transactions, and Steve and I take the hit for it. All right, 24. What is the most significant aspect of buffer overflow vulnerabilities?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I think we've seen this one before.
Yeah, and we talked about it for a while.
Yeah. All right, go for it.
It's B.
Yeah. Bravo. I think we're a bit surprised, but we did go through the
Yeah, I remember. We got it wrong.
museum. Yeah. All right, 25. When is the emergency state actually over for a company?
I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, I'm pointing towards Alpha. It's the people that's the most.
Yeah, I was going for Alpha too.
Man, Alpha's pulling me in, but Bravo just seems right.
Yeah, I'll go with Bravo too.
I'm going with Bravo.
Yeah. When the people and the operations are moved back to your primary site, that's when the emergency over.
Also,
But yeah, that Alpha, man, that we'll see.
Alpha
I wouldn't be too surprised if we're wrong about that one, but we'll see. 84, not too bad. Let's see where
Pretty good.
we got 1, 2, 3, 4 wrong. All right, so let's see. All right, number 1, any time data is accepted from untrusted sources, the safety of its processing must be considered. Okay. Number 2, got that one wrong. This one was a bit tricky though. So let's see. The following are correct characteristics of ADO, Activex data objects. It's a high-level data access programming interface to an underlying data access technology, such as OLE database. It's a set of COM objects for accessing data sources, not just database access. It allows a developer to write programs to access data without knowing how the database is implemented, and SQL commands or SQL commands are not required to access a database when using ADO. The correct one was 1 and 4.
Yeah, that's why I had pulled it on here because of the SQL part.
Yeah,
That I was pretty sure on that.
yeah, that's one. I'm going to listen back to this recording and a couple times before that one sinks in. All right, you're right about this one. The Internet Activities Board, IAB, is a committee for internet design, engineering, and management. It considers the use of the internet as a privilege and should be treated as such. This one, number 4, trusted computing base consists of software, hardware, firmware, and processes within a computer that are designed to enforce a security policy, or the reference monitor concept. Number 5, the main advantage of hot sites is that they can normally be made readily or ready for operations within hours, but they are expensive. Number 6, new resources may be provisioned for virtually any purpose, whether to expand a business unit's capacity or, in the case of security control, to more properly constrain it. The correct answer here was ensuring that new resource properly expands. That was something that should not be, or is the least important aspect of resource provisioning. It is an aspect of it, but the least important. Oh, we got that one wrong. What could be the most significant result of a flaw in file or directory permissions? Oh, goodness. Yeah, Steve, you tried to tell us, right?
Yeah, because it went viral on LinkedIn, that what I just told you about, that Dell support the remote execution by that 17-year-old kid just last week.
Many significantly adverse conditions can result from the failure to properly configure file and directory permissions, which really is a failure to ensure that proper access control is in place. But the most devastating of these is when an attacker gains system level access locally or remotely.
Yeah, that is the reason I was on A2, is that the system level control is catastrophic.
Yeah, and I didn't when we were reading this question, I didn't consider what's the most significant harm, what's the most significant result. Yeah, and that's why we're doing this, so we can get better at interpreting the true intent of these questions, and that I shouldn't be missing that. But all right, we live and learn, right? Oh, what the heck here? Recovery time objective? No, wait a minute. The maximum amount of time that a resource can remain unavailable is maximum tolerable downtime. What the heck are they talking about? Recovery time objective is how much time you're going to take to bring up operations at the alternate site. Explanation here says the recovery time objective defines the maximum amount of time that a system resource can remain unavailable before there is an unacceptable impact on other system resources. And the MTD. Determining the information system resource recovery time objective is important for selecting appropriate technologies that are best suited for meeting the MTD. I'm not sure if I agree with the wording of this question. I'm going to do some research on this.
Yeah, so I can throw some light from a real world, because again, this is in the real world, and I have done a bit of solutioning and selling on data center stuff. The three words that always you hear a lot is recovery time objective, recovery endpoint objective, and obviously the third is more of a business, the SLA, right? So I think maybe, I don't know, the key is to know if maximum tolerable downtime and recovery tolerable downtime actually are usable. I don't know. That's the key.
Yeah, well, these two for me are related. If you have an outage, you want to determine how long you can live without your operations. That to me is a maximum tolerable downtime. That's going to tell you what your recovery time objective should be. If we can tolerate being down for 2 hours, then our recovery time objective should be maybe an hour and a half, something like that, you know. But this question said blank defines a maximum amount of time that a system resource can remain unavailable. That to me is maximum tolerable downtime. But hey,
Because question doesn't read right.
yeah, that's a practice question. This is one I do not agree with, but we'll keep moving. All right, number 9, we got that one right. When reviewing biometric devices for purchase, one component to take into consideration is the length of time it takes to authenticate actual users. Two-phase commit function, which guarantees that no transaction is finalized until all systems and databases involved in the transaction are fully synchronized. We've seen that one before. Ooh, I think Steve, you're trying. We should just listen to Steve from now on. So let's see here. Number 11, network logs would be examined as part of a network analysis, not a software analysis. Identifying viruses, the author of the programs, and reverse engineering attacks would all be a part of software analysis investigation. But Trojan horse, I mean,
It's still a malicious file.
yeah, I guess, but I mean, you're looking at code to determine if it's a Trojan horse or a malicious software.
Yeah, I think, but they give you away, and the answers connect to the fact that there is another analysis that needs to be done, which is network analysis, and that's not software analysis. So I think that's where, it's about how we understood the question.
I think I will like alpha better if it was malicious, review malicious code, not just an example of malicious code, but I guess my brain is wrapped around an axle. All right, number 12, because connections must be established and terminated with each session, there are predictable and fixed delays with circuit switched networks. Packet switching connections will have variable delays because the packets can take different paths and be queued at different intermediate devices. So fixed delays for circuit, variable delays for, actually, wait a minute. Did I get that backwards? There are predictable and fixed delays with circuit. Oh, this one said which one is not true. Yeah, variable delays for packet switching. All right, this one was the layup. Least privilege is a control to be implemented after the hire is made, not during personnel screening. Checklist or desk check test is done to ensure that nothing has been left out of the plan. Structured walkthrough is a drill performed by representatives of each functional area. Simulation test seeks to emulate the performance of recovery steps in real time. Parallel test involves actual operations of the alternate processing facilities in parallel with primary sites. So you move operations to your alternate processing site, but you continue operations at your primary site, whereas a full failover is cut off primary and moved to alternate. when an attacker corrupts a DNS server by changing the host IP relationship information, the table is said to be poisoned. Number 15. Number 16, you guessed correctly. Buildings should have HVACs that provide positive air pressure or negative. But positive means the air goes out of a door when it's open. This helps to reduce the possibility of external contaminants entering the facility and allowing smoke to exit a building in cases of a fire. But there are cases of buildings where you want negative pressurization, that CDC being an example, where you want the contents of the building to stay in the building, not go out. Number 17, RSA can be used for data encryption, key exchange, and digital signatures. DSA can only be used for digital signatures. Actually, RSA can achieve all 4 objectives of cryptography. Number 18, this one was a layup. Logging is the activity of collecting system information that will be used for monitoring and auditing to enable early detection of security problems. Greatest tool there is. PHI is private information. Number 20, this one was a layup. Network segment located between protected and unprotected networks is a DMZ. DMZ provides a buffer and helps protect the internal network from the untrusted external network. Number 20, the least important of the 4 options is deciding the criteria for collecting and storing privacy data. Should be the size of the storage. Number 22, data remnants is a security vulnerability that exists when used. Computing devices are not properly sanitized. Best thing to do is take a hammer to it. 23, transaction type restrictions can be used to control what data is accessed during certain types of functions and what commands can be carried out on the data. And 24, all statements are true with respect to buffer overflow vulnerabilities, but what makes them a highly significant risk is the ease with which they can be exploited and the level of access they typically provide to an attacker. And then number 25, yeah, we guessed right on this one too. We were torn between A and B. The emergency state is not actually over until the company moves back into their primary site. The company is still vulnerable and at risk while it's operating at its altered or crippled state. All right. All right, that is it. We did this in exactly 1 hour. All right, guys. Any alibis? Any questions or comments?
No, thanks.
All right.
Right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thank you.